Oh, sorry. I didn't know it had started. My little window thing went away. Okay, sorry. Anyways, I wanted to go ahead and give y'all a little bit more instruction about your garden project since I'm not going to be there today to help you figure out some of the weird parts. So I'm just going to work through a little bit of the project as if I were a student like you and I needed to design my broccoli and cabbage section. Okay, so here's the grid. I know my instructions for cabbage are right here. I can't write, but you can see this right here, right? You see my cursor? Okay, so cabbage is grown in rows, so you'll need 2 long and skinny rectangular areas. They don't have to be very wide, just long enough to incorporate plenty of cabbage, okay? So I'm going to just start drawing, right? No big deal. Use green for cabbage. So I've got, let's do 3 boxes by this many, okay? So there's one long, skinny. I'm going to do another one. Okay, so there's my 2 cabbage sections. I just made it up, straight up. So now, looking at my dimensions, I know that X is 4 boxes, as shown right here, right? So when I try to figure out how big these are, I can label it literally a trillion different ways. But I kind of want to stick with things that I know will be easy to add, subtract, multiply, divide, etc. So looking at this short side of my row, I see it's 3 boxes. So to me, that is an X minus 1. And that'll be true for both of them, X minus 1. Okay, now this long edge is a lot of boxes. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark off how many whole X's I have. And I know what X is 4 boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 1, here, here, and I've got an extra. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 whole X's plus an extra. Okay, so I've got X minus 1 and 4X plus 1 as my dimensions. On your little recording sheet, your spec sheet, I'm doing cabbage, that's what you'll write in this dimensions column right here, okay? 1 was X minus 1, and you could write by, you could put an X, you could put these in parentheses. You don't have to do it like I'm doing it right now. I know some of you have already started and you've done it correctly, but I just want to show that you are writing in your dimensions in this box. So X minus 1 by 4X plus 1. Okay, those are my dimensions for my cabbage section. Now I know that I have 2, but they're exactly the same, so I'm okay just putting it in there once. Okay? Now, I have to still fill out these next boxes, area and perimeter. So on your own kind of separate sheet of paper, you're going to work those out. X minus 1 times 4X plus 1. That's going to give me my area, right? So I start multiplying this out. So I've got 4X squared plus X minus 4X minus 1. Okay. So there's my area. So I can now go back and write that in. Oh, I already put that in. X squared minus 3X minus 1. Notice, I don't have work in this box. I just have the answer for my area. Okay. Now I do the same thing with perimeter. Well, I know perimeter means that I add all the sides, right? This is kind of a little quick sketch. Well, I know that this is also 4X plus 1, and this is also X minus 1. So when I start adding these together, I'm going to have 4X plus 4X plus X plus X, that's all my X's, as well as negative 1 plus 1, negative 1 plus 1. Okay? So when I add those, this is going to give me 10X, and this is actually going to give me 0, because negative 1 plus 1, 0, negative 1 plus 1, 0 again. So literally just 10X is my entire perimeter for that cabbage section. Okay? Oops, wrong way. Now, the one thing I haven't included in here is that I have 2 of these, right? So I actually need to double both of these, okay? You can do that a few different ways. If you just want to leave it as 1, and then you just want to put like in the corner times 2, you can. You'd have to do that on both. Or you can actually just double them where they're at. So for example, this would not be 10X, this would be 20X, because I have 2 cabbage sections. This would not be X squared minus 3X minus 1. I need to double all that. So I'd have 2X squared. Oh, I have an eraser in my hand. 2X squared minus 6X minus 2. Is that right? Yeah, minus 2, because I just doubled all those coefficients. So now I have my area for both as well as my perimeter for both. Okay? I don't really care how you do it, but you have to make sure you've included that, because whenever you figure out your totals, you're going to need that. Okay? So that's just me doing cabbage. So now let's talk about broccoli, for example. Here we go. broccoli, it says create a section in the shape of a right triangle. The legs need to be at least 2 times longer than the shortest side, okay? So looking at the shortest side of my tool shed, I see that it is 2 units long, okay? So if I'm making a right triangle that needs to be 2 times that, they each need to be at least 4 times long, right? So there's 4, there's 4. But I'm going to pause here for a second because I'm remembering that I am supposed to do one of each of these, perfect square trinomial and a difference of 2 squares, right? Well, let's pretend that I've already done this one. I've already had that accomplished somewhere on my picture, but I'm still lacking this guy, okay? I'm still lacking something that would create a difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to go back to my picture here and think, okay, how can I expand this? Right now it's just x by x. So how can I make it to where I have something plus something and then that same thing minus that same thing, right? Well, maybe it works better just to make it up, right? What if I said that I have to have x plus 3 and this one has to be x minus 3, okay? Well, I kind of think that through. X minus 3, that would be 1 box, right? Because an x is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1 box. Well, that's not 2 times longer than the shortest side of the tool shed, so I can't do that. Okay, so let's change that. What if I did 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 3? Okay, let's think about if that would work. I know an x is 4 boxes, so 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3, that'd be 11 boxes. 2 times 4 is 8, 8 minus 3 is 5 boxes. Both of those will work, okay? So I need to now change my triangle so that I have an 11 by 5 as my dimension. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus an extra. Okay, so now I can use this for my right triangle, okay, because this is 2x, what did I say? minus 3, and this is 2x plus 3, okay? Now that's just one way you can do it. You don't have to sit there and come up with your dimensions first and then try to make it work. You might actually already have something on your paper that works just by accident, okay? But you have to have the same exact numbers on both sides with 1 plus 1 minus. You also don't have to have that on the triangle. It can be on your potato section, that's a rectangle. It could be on your berry section. It could be on your flower bed section. It could be anywhere, okay? All right, now we talked about in class that I can't label this side. We do not have the tools available to us, so I don't know what that is. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to leave it blank, okay? But now on my spec sheet for broccoli, I do need to do 2x plus 3 by 2x minus 3. Those are my dimensions, right? So now I want to fill out the area and the perimeter. I can do area, right? 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. But I know that I have to do a half of that because this is the area of a triangle, okay? The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Well, this part is where I'm going to demonstrate that I know how to create a difference of 2 squares. I know that I just square the first term, so that's 4x squared. I square the second term, that's 9, and I put a minus sign, okay? Then I still have to take half, so that's going to be 2x squared minus 4.5, okay? That's my area of my triangle. No, 2, sorry. 2x squared minus 4.5, okay? Now perimeter, again, we talked about how we can't really do the perimeter because we don't know that long side, right? It's just going to be an unknown kind of thing. So I'm going to just put either like a big X or a question mark or something because we can't figure it out. You do have the option if you just want to add the 2 sides that you do have. So like in this case, that would be 4x. If you do want to just put that in there, that's fine. You can put an X. I really do not care. I think that this is a project people stress over because I don't have enough structure in there, when really I don't have the structure because I don't care. The point of this is for you to practice multiplying and adding polynomials. And if you are getting the practice in multiplying and adding polynomials, I'm going to be happy. So don't stress over the details like that, okay? Alrighty, let me think if there's anything else. Remember when you finish, these are some examples. Don't think that they all need to look like this one, right? I don't want to get 70 projects that all have giant tomatoes and potatoes drawn in their sections. You can also have it like this little one right here, where they actually have drawn little bitty plants in all their little spots. You can do it that way. Or you can do it like this one, where it's just actually kind of neatly colored and labeled. Don't feel like you have to do exactly what you're seeing here. I'm just giving you some examples, okay? I also want to point out it was a requirement last year that they do flower beds all the way around the whole thing. That is not a requirement this year because it actually ended up being a huge pain. Okay, so don't stress over that. The only other thing that I would tell you is remember the bottom of your spec sheet, which I don't think I have it pulled up anymore, and it's not on my screenshot, but the bottom of your spec sheet talks about the total amount of soil, total amount of fencing, total amount of gravel, okay? In general, I'm going to kind of just tell you how to find those. Total amount of soil is going to be the combined area of all of your sections, okay? Because you're just putting soil in all of the plants and the flower beds, okay? Total gravel is the area of the whole garden. So like that black outline I drew, area of the whole garden minus that area. So minus the area of the sections. Okay, because you're only going to have gravel in between all of your planted sections. Okay, total fencing is the combined area, no, not combined area, combined perimeters of all of your sections. Of all sections, and the outside perimeter. So that black border I drew, you'll add that in as well. Okay, so those three things are going to be your last steps because you can't do those until you found the area of everything and the perimeter of everything. Okay. The last thing I'm going to add is that you should see this written on the chalkboard, but I made a discussion board in Schoology so that if you have questions, you can post them there. And if you see a question posted as a student and you already know the answer because you've already asked me or something, feel free to answer that question. Just reply back to the discussion post and say, hey, I talked to Ms. McWilliams about that yesterday. She said this and this and this or whatever. And then I will also try to be watching that today throughout my meetings so that I can respond to some of those questions as well. You can also send me emails and remind texts, but I just figure we can make it a group effort and put it in a discussion board. Okay, hopefully this is a little bit more clear. This is due Friday. You have all day today to work on it. Not tomorrow because we're doing shadow days. Please do not stress over this. Please do not turn it into something as big as a line project. It's not supposed to be as big as a line project. Alrighty, see y'all tomorrow.